the end.
Yeah, and another unfortunate goal disallowed with VAR, but you could see it was very tight. But I think we're just building. I think we've got that character now as a team and the team spirit. I think it's pushing us on. We haven't got a win on the board yet, but we're being hard to beat.
Did you get a fingertip on right at the end to push it onto the post there?
Of course I did.
A sort of celebration.
Yeah, it was. It's one of them where you reverse and you've just got to be in the moment. And I thought I had a good game today, and I was right in the moment. I was helping the lads. And you need loads of leaders on the pitch, and I think you can see in the team spirit around us, we've got that. And we didn't get 3 points, but you know, we got a draw out where we can keep building now.
Yeah, the keepers were running the match today. I mean, I think you had half a dozen quality saves there.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Alice made some wonderful saves as well, but that's our job. Help the team out when we need it, and it's my first clean sheet of the season, and it's another building block for us and as a team to get better and get better.
Yeah, as you say, you haven't got the win, but I mean, that is a big point.
Yeah. I think, is that 4 points now we're on? In 4 draws, but it's hard work, it's commitment. And we keep building, like I say, I've said up there, we keep building, we get stronger, we'll get the wins.
I'll give you a man in a match trophy. Safe hands.
Thank you.
And he's delighted with that first clean sheet of the season. But what was really interesting to hear him say there, Leon, was about the character, about the mentality of this Everton team. You could argue they might not have got a point out of that last season.
Yeah, agreed. And the same going to Leeds and Brentford in the last couple of games as well, making sure that when you're up against it, when things aren't going well for you in the game, because Liverpool had some brilliant moments in the game, and yet Everton stuck it out. And it needs big characters to stand up. It needs centre-halves to make important challenges, goalkeepers to make crucial saves. And, you know, especially that one with his fingertip onto the post in the last minute from Salah was an outstanding save. And those moments can start your season off. I mean, you've seen a Merseyside derby a few seasons back where Everton concede these in the last minutes of the game and end losing these games. But, you know, this is outstanding. And get a little bit of luck that it doesn't fall kindly to a Liverpool player inside penalty area after that. But that is a really good, strong left-handed. I think he deserved that because his performance was outstanding.
Because all day, rightly or wrongly, Liverpool just couldn't find a way past him, could they? As I say, 8 saves, more than any other goalkeeper this season.
Yeah, he's a good goalkeeper. I mean, some people will accuse him of not being, I know, one of those goalkeepers, like his opposite number today, actually, really cool, calculated, calm. He loves playing to the crowd. He feeds off that energy. He's punching the air when he makes a save. He's not the normal goalkeeper that you expect. You normally expect goalkeepers to be very, very cool, calculated, whereas he's quite erratic in his mentality, let's say. But boy, can he stop the ball. I mean, he's made some cracking saves today, and probably the most impressive one, as Leon says, was that end one against Salah. He gets the finest little touch to it. He was quick to tell us as well that he's getting the final touch to it. But he was outstanding today and fully deserved that man of the match. 53
Premier League games Dwight McNeil's played without scoring a goal. For a split second, he thought that was over and he was the hero, but then it was Alisson's turn at the other end.
Well, for a split second, I thought he'd ended that run as well. It was, yeah, just pressure from Everton, getting players. Look how many players we can see in shot there, getting into Liverpool's penalty area. I haven't seen that enough from Everton teams in the last few months, but here today, certainly get forward. A couple of ricochets, but you know, it's so unfortunate. It doesn't go in, but from Alisson's point of view, that is an outstanding save himself.
Yeah, 2 deflections, and that's why goalkeepers, when academies look at goalkeepers, they don't even look at the ability, to start with. It's just, is he going to be big? And that's why, because if he was anything other than 6'3+ or whatever he is, then he would never have got that. But 2 different deflections and a brilliant save. And I love the way he started going with one hand, and all of a sudden he changed it because he thought, I need every inch here. And it was a brilliant save right at the end.
We talked before the game about Neil Maupay making his Everton debut. Could, maybe should have he been the hero today?
I think he should, and he would have made himself an absolute hero on the Everton side of the Mersey had he put this in. Everton did this very well all day. Look how quickly Everton break. Good bit of skill by Damari Gray, and then you're looking for support, you're looking for numbers, and they had it. And when the ball falls to him inside the penalty area, with as much space as you'll ever get inside an opposition's penalty area, he's got to score. Whether he goes first time, that's an option, or you take your touch, and your touch has to be much better, Michael.
I think it came to him quite quick, which is why he didn't hit it first time. But once he takes a touch, and actually it was probably the best decision to take a touch, even though I think it just happened that quick, he's just... That's one of the reasons why I hate it when people say, oh, you've got to hit the target, because that's what he just did. He's thinking he's just hit the target. I mean, he'll go into the dressing room now and say, well, I hit the target. You're against Alisson, you're against Liverpool. You've got to be better than that. You've got to find a corner. You've got to have the courage to dink him. You've got to go through his legs. You've got to slot it, not just hit it down the throat of the goalkeeper. So thankfully he did it, but that's why I always hate that phrase, he's got to hit the target.
You know, let's slip.
That is
occasionally
the perfect
in my
example.
My text message goes off and it's Michael. He don't say
hit the target.
Yeah. You didn't, sorry, and he did. All
did.
right. Lots more to come when we come back from the break. No goals then in the first 45 minutes at Goodison Park in the Merseyside derby. What have you made of it, Michael?
Well, if I was both, if I could pick being one of the managers at half-time, I think I would be Frank Lampard. I think he's got to be having a far easier team talk with his players than Jurgen Klopp. Of course, Liverpool hit the bar and the post in the last few minutes, but apart from that, you know, they've hardly threatened the Everton goal. So I think Everton will be really happy with their tactics, with the way the game's going. Liverpool have come into it in the last few minutes and they need to keep that going in the second half.
Familiar story for Everton. All that's missing is the goal. They were mightily close to it through Tom Davies.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone would have really argued had that ball found the back of the goal. I think Everton have shown how they want to play. They've been brave, they've pressed, they've moved forward. Look how many men they're getting into the final third. And because of that, they're able to compete with Liverpool, win the ball high up and get players around the ball. And they're desperately unlucky there when, you know, Tom Davies winning the ball back doesn't stop, runs into the penalty area just on the off chance the ball's going to bounce. It does bounce his way, but probably should do better there, Mo. Yeah,
well, he should, yeah. I mean, Joe Gomez gives me a bit of nerves, if I'm honest. That's a left foot clearance. He's going to try to clear it with his right foot, miss-kicking it. And basically, the ball's just stopped, you know, 10 metres away from the goal. I mean, it's not ideal. And I don't blame Davies going with the outside of his foot. I probably would have done the same when it's right in the middle of you and you get that natural curve in, but just set it off a little bit too wide.
But as you say, that particular move was an example of Everton's game plan, of their real intent getting in Liverpool faces.
Yes, and I worried in the first minute of the game because Onana didn't push in with the rest of the team, but since then Everton have been brave enough to go 4v3 at the back and just allow everyone to release themselves and not worry what's behind them. People behind will do that job, and because of that, they've been competitive. They've won the ball back, as I've said. And then they've been bright. And look how many people they're getting inside the Liverpool penalty area so quickly. 5 players forward, 3 ringing the edge. And it's been the story. Some good passing. Tom Davies has picked up some brilliant positions. And it's a great tackle, that by Anthony Gordon. The exact kind of thing that Everton need. But they're constantly keeping the ball alive, keeping that pressure onto Liverpool. And Liverpool struggle to get out at times.
They have. And it's twofold when you're pressing high like this and being brave and aggressive is that, yes, you win the ball back high, like Everton have done on numerous occasions, but when you do win the ball back, your players are in the right positions to go and attack as well. So they've had their tactics spot on, Everton. They have, I think that's the right word for this half, is bravery. They've not sat back and not necessarily respected Liverpool as much as some teams do. They've got about them. And at the back, they've been brave enough to go man v man or, as Leon says, 4v3 at times, to get those men forward and to actually put pressure, and Liverpool have cracked at times.
And as you rightly say, when you've got quality, you can, in the blink of an eye, change it. They almost did twice towards the end of that first half, Liverpool.
Well, if Everton had the quality Liverpool had up front, then I'm sure they'd be a couple of goals ahead by now. Liverpool haven't created much at all, but that's not even a half chance, and he's rattled the bar. Great save from Pickford. And then Diaz, that we've seen him cutting inside from the left on his right foot as well and curling the ball already this season into that far corner. This takes a little deflection. There's a better angle where we see it, and then that's a great save, tipped onto the bar. And as I say, Liverpool then keep that pressure on. Diaz picks up the ball, cuts inside, he catches it clean. There's no deflection there, and Everton get away with one. But I think it would have been fortunate for Liverpool if that had gone in to go in 1-0 ahead. Would probably been against the run of play.
Yeah, for all the quality that Everton, I think, have showed and the bravery, it just shows you're always susceptible to that ball over the top. If you push through and you're prepared to try and be on the front foot, Darwin Núñez was very aware of it. Great ball through to him, and you can be punished. So Everton, fortunate not to concede there, but I think they'll try and stick with that same game plan.
Woodwork hit at both ends then in the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Beautifully poised for the